What first date behavior is a deal breaker? Possessive behavior. If this is how you act with someone you've just met, how would a relationship with you be? I had a guy buy me a toothbrush after a third date so I can use it when I'm staying over at his house. He also wanted to see me every day of the week after the first date and got insulted if I denied. Then he would ask about every little detail that I did when I was not seeing him. I'm just not that social person, and I don't want to see anyone 24/7 for 4 days in a row wasn't a good enough reason. Oh, and he also pressured me to tell him my Reddit account. The last one was the deal breaker, wasn't it? I give someone the keys to my house before Reddit account. I think when they don't even ask you about yourself, maybe that sounds weird, but I had a date that would be constantly talking about her life and friends and whatnot. I would ask her questions too, but she never once asked me about anything. My boyfriend has a friend like this. She literally never wanted to ask questions or get to know me unless I offered up details about myself. Even then, she'd turn the conversation back to her. They won't stop talking about their ex. Had his ex call 4 times within 15 minutes. Yeah, noped right out of that one. I had this happen. It is only in hindsight that I now realize it probably wasn't his ex. It was his girlfriend, and he was cheating on her. Immediately starting with the "I love you" attitude. Had a girl tell me she thought she loved me about halfway through our first date once. I brushed it off as flirty banter, then toward the end of our meal she says, "You know how I know you love me? You didn't say that you didn't love me when I said I loved you." She sounds crazy. That was my conclusion too. And the reason for no second date. Had another girl tell me she wanted to pull out my leg hairs and eat them, then stick a pencil in the end of my dick to keep the good stuff from coming out. Never even went on a date with that one. That was just after a couple weeks of casual conversation at work. Then when I didn't really respond with anything other than an okay, she told me I was terrible at flirting and stormed off. What the actual F? Showing up late and not texting ahead of time. You're not playing it cool if you're 20 minutes late without saying anything. The amount of anxiety that would give me. Especially as I'm a person who has to be 15 minutes early. It's insane to me the number of people who just can't be on time anymore. It tells me you don't value other people's time. Yeah, sometimes you hit traffic, the dog threw up, whatever, it happens, but you usually know who is honest about it and who is just making excuses pretty quick. I went on a first date about a year ago, right before COVID really hit. We met for lunch on a work day for me, but I have a flexible schedule. She was 30 minutes late and then for some reason parked 3 blocks away, even though the place had an empty parking lot, which took her another 15 minutes to walk to. During lunch she mentioned she was late because she had to stop at Target and Starbucks, which really pissed me off. We still have a good time, but after 2 hours I say I have to get back to work. I ask where she parked and she tells me, and I offer her a ride to her car and she says no. About an hour later she texts me saying it was rude I didn't walk her to her car. There was no second date. Wait, she expected you to walk her to her car, 15 minutes away, and then walk back to your car that was parked close to the restaurant? Yeah, she's a nutter. I can sort of understand her decline to your offer to drive her, but the other stuff, no clue there. Sounds like a test. One that he should be thanking his lucky stars that he failed. Yep, walk away from the testers. You're basically signing up for a lifetime of petty drama with those. Once, I was talking to this girl online, and things were going pretty well, so we decided to go for dinner. I showed up to the place 5 minutes early, so I waited. And kept waiting. Texted her 15 minutes after we were scheduled to meet, but didn't get a response. Waited for another 45 minutes, then left. She messaged me later saying that she wasn't there because she lives in Indonesia. I live in New Jersey. What the F? I don't understand people sometimes. Indiana? No, I said Indonesia. That's just effed up. Edit/thanks everyone for the updates. Yeah, who lives in New Jersey? Boat ride took longer than I expected, sorry. taking me to a multi-level marketing seminar. Actually happened. Listen, you can be your own boss and set your hours. Just give me 50% of all sales you make, and if you don't make 100,100 sales per month, I will have to take your children as collateral. You'll take my children as collateral? Whoa, baby, don't threaten me with a good time. Introducing me to your boyfriend. Been there. Do you mind if my boyfriend joins us? It won't be weird, I promise. She was wrong. What happened? Sword fight. I dated a girl when I was in my early 20s who was married, but for citizenship reasons. I finally meet her husband and he approached me with a stink face and says, "I hear you're the guy who's been effing my wife." Then throws his arms up and hugs me, "Glad to finally meet you. I've heard so much." Friendliest effing guy, and I'm still friends with both of those people to this day. Jesus, I thought I was the only one that experienced that. I didn't even know she was in a relationship, let alone living with the guy. Really tainted the blowjob she gave me in the park earlier that evening. Texting their ex. What kind of rude buttholes are you finding? You obviously have not dived down into the crap hole that is Tinder. I went on a date and the guy was texting his ex-fiancée, but then he clarified he has 2 ex-fiancées. I know, right? Or texting their spouse. That's just rude. Forgetting to take off your wedding ring. I didn't know this until recently. Picking wax out of your ears and sprinkling it around. Don't. Just don't, okay? What am I supposed to season my dinner with? Dandruff like normal people. Showed up late getting all done up, told via text, but was in a ratty hoodie, and her clothes smelled musty. Super shy, quiet, barely spoke, even when asked innocuous questions. Until the movie started. Then she wouldn't shut the F up, kept staring at me, and asking the dumbest questions like, "How'd you get so tall? Do you like movies?" So. Yeah, that sounds like someone who popped something that took a little while to kick in. Damn. Absolutely this. Maybe even anxiety meds kicking in. But how did you get so tall? Lots of sunlight and water. It's been my experience that movies are only a good date after you're already together for a while. Like date number 5 or 6 at least. You really want to get to know someone through chatting on the first few dates, and it's rude to talk during a movie. It might be okay if you're getting drinks afterwards, but a risky bet. If he comes to pick you up and pees in your driveway before y'all leave. The lives people lead. It's somewhat freeing. I have terrible anxiety, but then I ground myself thinking about, holy crap, those are real people and actually have friends/significant others. Why am I so worried in public? If the line is no public urination, I'm a effing diamond. Was he a cat, by chance? I am not a cat. I'm a lawyer. Smelly, greasy hair, and no effort in appearance. If the first date isn't important enough for you to even shower, then how important will the relationship be to you? 100% agree. Last date I went on, pre-COVID, he turned up unwashed and in a wrinkly shirt. The shirt didn't really bother me. The deal breaker was his pungent body odor. Lol. Before I got married, my old roommate would always make comments if I was getting the house/my wardrobe ready pre-date. I didn't even know we had a clothes iron. You own cologne? Uh-oh. The house is spotless. You have a date, or are your parents coming over? I still generally have wrinkly clothes, but I am kind of crazy about trying to always smell good. They say smell is one of our stronger memory triggers. Making me do all the work, conversation-wise. I don't mind being the lead driver, but you need to at least pull your own weight. I've been on some dates that felt more like interviews. I would try everything I could to get an actual conversation going, but they ended up as Q&A sessions. This is absolutely a huge one for me. Nerves on a first date are one thing. I completely understand being slow to warm up in the feeling out process. But it's an entirely different thing for them to literally offer nothing conversation-wise, and only answer your attempts with short dead-end responses. What do you do with that? Sometimes I'll just start sharing stuff on my own initiative. It feels narcissistic, but I want them to have some knowledge about me, haha. Had a date like this a year ago. We met on Reddit, hit it really well. She was really talkative in chat and in video calls, so it looked promising. Drove 3 hours to her because she lost most of her work as a film critic due to Corona while I have a consulting job. So no problem for me. When I arrive there, she doesn't say a thing. Dodges every question. Completely not willing/able to engage in any form of communication. Like the total opposite person she was online. I hope she is just nervous, so I start talking a lot about myself, hoping it would make her relax a bit. After 1 hour she just says this is not working for me, turns around, leaves me standing there. And to this day I have no effing clue why this went so bad. Shout out to the 100 replies and DMs calling me ugly. And people are wondering why I am a misanthrope. I'll offer a third option that may be a little hurtful, and I apologize for that, but it's a possibility. She didn't find you as attractive in person, for any number of reasons. Username checks out. Starting the date by saying that you've cleared your entire weekend, just in case this date works out and I'm free. No pressure. Or bringing his overnight bag into your house when he picks you up. Not a big deal, it's whatever. What do you mean, I should leave? Reminds me of a date I had with a woman out of town. I told her I got a hotel room in her town and invited her to dinner. I had no hotel room, but I didn't want there to be weird, awkward pressure. Ended up spending the night at her place. The next day, I confessed to never getting the room, and she said something like, "No crap. I knew you didn't have a room. You were just giving me an out if I wanted one." Which I appreciated. Or something very close to that. This was many years ago. That was incredibly classy of you. I like this. Booking hotels is so easy too these days that you still can if you need to later. Yeah, just in case this date goes well, we're meeting my parents for a drink after dinner tonight. They want to discuss grandbabies. No pressure. /s I found the thought of how far some people would take this and just say no pressure to make it seem normal just hilarious, lol. When we plan an actual date where we meet up somewhere, and at the last minute they bail. But, wait. They're still free. All you have to do is go to their house. Bitch, no. So, basically manipulation. If you manipulate me just once, I'm done. I'd say if I'm not worth leaving your house for, this isn't going to work. Oh no. I had something similar happen to me. We met in front of a coffee place, then he told me that instead we were actually going to go to some park somewhere and to hop on the back of his bike. Because I was 17, this was the first date I'd ever had and I didn't know how to say no. I did. He took me to his house first. A guy where I worked was hitting on a girl on the lunch truck for over a month. She finally said she would go out with him. So for the first date he took her to a 30 porn show. Apparently she excused herself to go to the bathroom after a few minutes and never came back. I felt so sorry for her. I would have been scared out of my mind to be with someone that off. My mom had this happen to her. She said no over and over to this guy, until finally she gave it a shot and said yes. He took her to a porno drive-in and then tried to pretend that he hadn't known and that they should stay. She absolutely refused and pitched a huge fit so he would take her home. My mom tells a story about my dad doing the same thing to her when they dated. It sounds like a rapey player strategy they used back in the 1970s/80s. And your mom stayed with him? At least long enough to have you? They're still together. It's been 42 years. My childhood was not pleasant. They are toxic for each other and had no business getting married in the first place. I am very low contact for my own sanity and the safety of my children. Was his name Travis Bickle? What do you mean? These are good movies. They're the kind that couples go to. I went to see a movie with a girl who I'd been talking to for a few weeks. We went to see a movie and she starts sucking her thumb like a baby while watching the movie. I'm thinking weird tick I guess, but okay. Halfway through the movie she gets really emotional, drops to the floor and starts rolling around like a toddler. After about 10 minutes she gets up and acts like nothing happened. I don't know what to say at this point. At one point during the day she's telling me about another date she went on where she saw her friend halfway through and was speaking to her and the guy just walked off without saying bye or anything. As she's telling me this we bump into a girl she knows, they're talking for a bit and I try to introduce myself but she cuts me off to talk about something different. They're both acting like I'm not even there. This goes on for effing 30 minutes. Half an hour of me just standing there like a dickhead as if I don't know either of them while it seems like they're both actively ignoring me. I try to say goodbye but it's literally like I'm completely invisible. I figure at that point either she didn't like me and somehow planned this intervention from her friend to save blatant turning me down or she's just a rude person so I just walk away. I get on the bus to go home and I get a message, "Hey, why did you walk away?" I was 17 at the time and it's the strangest date I've ever been on to this day. Halfway through the movie she gets really emotional, drops to the floor and starts rolling around like a toddler. After about 10 minutes she gets up and acts like nothing happened but the actual F. Exactly. I had a lot of social anxiety back then so I just kind of brushed it off while internally imploding instead of confronting her. I couldn't tell if she was joking around or what but it was effing bizarre. Okay, did it have anything to do with the movie? Like did the movie just have an emotional scene or did she legit start glitching out on her own? Either way she's glitching out, but... That's exactly what I thought for a while but I can't figure out what part it could have been. We saw Saving Mr. Banks. The movie where Tom Hanks is Walt Disney. Mr. Hanks makes me emotional but not that emotional. Rolling around in the floor of a movie theater for 10 minutes is a total wacko move. I mean it's like she turned into the human equivalent of those lint hair catching rollers you use for clothes. Constantly being on your cell phone. Seriously, man. That's so uncool. Yeah, I don't get this. I don't even spend time on my phone when I'm having a drink with a friend. Can't understand why people are tweeting or whatever during a date. Once I told a guy he had something in his teeth and he flossed with his long hair. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. Flossing companies hate that guy. He is the 10th dentist. What's the point in going to all that effort of growing it if you're not going to use it? Sounds like lofty standards to me. This wasn't a first date, as she had told me she just wanted to be friends after that, but we did one friend date after, and this basically killed it. Let's go to Chick-fil-A. Orders something for herself and then asks me if I want anything. Yeah, I'll just have a shake. We get to window and she turns to me, "I'm kind of broke and don't have that much on me, can you pay?" I would be fine with it if she had just asked me before if I minded buying her something, but to phrase it like she was the one paying and then switching it up on me? I'm just being used. Edit. Why the F is my most upvoted comment the one where I look like a beta male? I mean I am, but still. To the server, got to cancel that sandwich. It will be just the shake, thanks. I don't have the balls to say that I'm too nice to a fault. My brother on the other hand would. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.